In the headlines, APC presidential candidate meets religious leaders in Kano, says he's contending with two other candidates. President Muhammadu Buhari pledges to investigate herder farmer killings in Benue. Road accident kills 3 on Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway. Car explosion, gunfire hit hotel in Somalia's Kismayo. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I'm Zainab Bala. Hello and welcome. Presidential candidate of the All Progressive Congress, Bola Tinubu, has narrowed the 2023 presidency to a race of 3. Tinubu meets with clerics and religious leaders in Kano. A total of 18 parties fielded candidates for the #1 position in the land. Tinubu told his audience that he believes he has just 2 persons to contend with in February. Although he did not mention the names of the PDP and Labour Party candidates, it was clear he was referring to Atiku Abubakar and Peter Obi. APC Vice Presidential candidate Kashim Shettima gave the context to Tinubu's comment at an interactive session with leaders of the Tijaniya sect in Kano on Sunday. Shettima said Peter Obi calls Lagos home, not Ekwolobia or Oka, because Asiwaju has provided the templates that made Lagos the most peaceful. On Atiku, Shettima said Tinubu would not divide 50% of his time in Dubai and 50% in Nigeria. The APC presidential candidate further made allusion to Atiku's often visit and stay in Dubai, United Arab Emirates, telling the clerics that, unlike the PDP candidate, he would be promising total dedication. As political canvass supporters form electorates in different constituencies for their candidates in the next year's general elections across the country, many electorates have been exposed to messages from the major political parties. Trust TV's Adamu Imam in this report takes a look at how the smaller parties are making effort to quieten the major ones in Bauchi State. His report.
Over time, political campaigns have mostly revolved around the major political parties until this year, when parties like the Labour Party and the New Nigerian People's Party have changed the political landscape. Recently, the Labour Party hosted its vice presidential candidate Ahmed Detti at a stakeholders meeting in Bauchi and vowed to woo voters, especially in the northern part of the country, for the party. The state chairman of the party, Hassan Saraki, told Trust TV that they are gathering momentum to sell the party to the electorate, hoping to cast their votes for Labour candidates in all positions.
To change this country from consumer nation to producer nation. That alone, if we do, we will be able to create a lot of development to our people. As a nation, we will be able to create a lot of job opportunities, which inevitably will now result into creating wealth and peace and security in our nation.
Beyond the Labour Party, other political parties are also gearing up to upstage the PDP and APC in Bauchi State.
We are able to identify a credible candidate, and these 2 major political parties, they have tried their own luck, and we can judge them, and now we are after the candidate. And the 2023 general election is not about political party, it's about the candidature of the person that contests under the umbrella of the party.
Then, based on the analysis on ground, if you see, you can observe that people are deviating from PDP and APC, which we consider as the major political parties in Nigeria, because of so many reasons. One of the reasons is that those major parties make their issues to become monetary.
APC will be the one to look for our party, not we looking for the support or merger or alliance or whatever you call it at the end of the day, because Nigerians are looking for change, the real change. Now our polity or our manifesto is issue-based.
Meanwhile, the major political parties in the state, the ruling People's Democratic Party and the main opposition party, the All Progressives Congress, are keen in maintaining their lead in the state. Adam Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Some groups in Kaduna State are lamenting their non-inclusion in the just concluded interactive session with presidential candidates organized by the Joint Arewa Committee in Kaduna. Speaking with journalists in Kaduna, the leaders of the groups demanded that a comprehensive blueprint of the challenges confronting the North and how such challenges will be addressed should be submitted to the presidential candidates before the 2023 election. The report.
The Joint Arewa Committee said the interactive session was to interface with the presidential candidate in order to know how they intend to address some of the challenges bedeviling the North. These groups welcomed the move behind the interface with the presidential candidate, but decried their non-inclusion in the exercise.
Joint Committee of Arewa actually is just some selective number of groups that are not more than 5, which are, even if you look at it within its own membership, these same 5 organizations, a lot of members within them were not even consulted or involved. I, for one, I'm not just a member or a convener of Arewa Consultative and Synergy Congress. I'm equally a member of ACF. And being a member of ACF, I feel it's my right to know if ACF is going to engage itself into such activity. But the motive is quite a good one, but the kind of move is not really a welcome one for now.
I am also a member of ACF, but I'm not aware. For every meeting of ACF, I receive a text message, I attend a meeting of the ACF, and I participate fully. But for this one, I saw that ACF is part of it, but I was not informed, I was not aware. And it was not too long when we held a national executive meeting of ACF, and it was not mentioned there.
The groups want a written agreement between the North and the candidate in order to commit them to addressing the challenges confronting the North.
That is why we are faulting the whole thing. It is we that are supposed to present our own agenda to them. That's exactly what should be. The ideal thing is Arewa, all-encompassing, should be the one to set the ball rolling. You as a candidate should fall into our own demand, our own agenda. That's how it is done.
Are you supposed to call this presidential candidate for them to tell you what they intend to do for you in the North? Or you are supposed to call them and tell them this is what we need in the North? Read through, agree, make a pronouncement, and let's sign an agreement publicly before the world that you have agreed to the terms and conditions of North and Northerners. If you want North and Northern vote, if you want to be elected by Northerners, Northerners are presenting to you the Northern agenda. This is our agenda. This is what we need. This is what the Northerners want. This is what we are expecting from you if you become a leader. If you agree, you sign publicly. All the representatives sign. We agree that there is a pact between the North and a presidential candidate A, presidential candidate B, presidential candidate C, and all the 18 presidential candidates.
The groups urged the electorate to obtain their permanent voter card and vote for credible leaders in 2023. From Kaduna, Bello Musa reporting for Trust TV.
Hundreds of angry youth in the ancient city of Katsina blocked Kofar Endaka Masanawa on Gwarieri Road, protesting against what they called APC's misrule in the state. The protests, which lasted for over 3 hours, forced movement of commuters plying the road to a standstill. Abdullahi Ahmadi reports.
This is the second time angry youth are protesting in Katsina State in less than 3 months. The protesters are also lamenting lack of commitments and concern from the political actors, especially on pressing issues such as insecurity and provision of social amenities, among many others. I'm assuring you that we will start mobilizing youth across Katsina State to disregard APC, and let's come together and support the party that has the interest of Nigerians at heart. The angry youth say they want nothing from the political actors other than purposeful leadership that can provide security and opportunities which will enable them explore their potentials. The APC leadership in Katsina State has failed us. They promised us so many things and failed. Our electricity transformer was faulty for over 8 months and nothing was done in spite of all our reports to the relevant authorities. The dynamics of the state politics may become even more unpredictable, with many politicians cross-carpeting from one political party to another ahead of the 2023 elections. Abdullahi Ismayamadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
President Muhammad Buhari has reached out to Governor Samuel Ortom of Benue State, pledging the full support of the federal administration in assisting him and the people of Benue with resources to investigate the latest herder farmer killings. The president, in a statement issued Saturday by his spokesman Garba Shehu, said it is unacceptable for lives to be taken by herdsmen and farmers alike. Buhari, who commiserated with the people of Benue State, said politics must be set aside to bridge divisions in the interest of all citizens. In the last 1 week, scores of people were killed after armed men opened gunfire on residents of Beji rural town in Ukum local government area of Benue State. The victims include villagers, herders, and at least one policeman. When contacted, the State Police Commissioner Wali Abbas said separate incidences happened around the border villages of Benue and Taraba states. All Progressive Congress APC presidential candidate in 2023 elections, Bola Tinubu, has donated 100 million naira to flood victims in Kano. Tinubu announced the donation during a dinner organized in his honor by Kano Business Community Council on Saturday in Kano. The presidential candidate called for sustained prayers to end flood disasters in the state and the nation in general. Tinubu said the donation was aimed at alleviating the sufferings of the victims in the affected local government areas. The APC candidate said if elected, he would ensure that Nigeria's diversity served as a source of prosperity for all. He noted that the federal government had taken several measures to build infrastructure and improve the ease of doing business across the country. The APC presidential candidate pledged to reposition existing industries and make them a competitive source of industrialization and growth, not just for the North or Kano, but the entire country. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has received 542 stranded Nigerians from the United Arab Emirates. The head of press unit, NEMA, Manzo Ezekiel, who confirmed this in a statement on Sunday in Abuja, said the returnees arrived at the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, and included 79 males, 460 females, and 3 infants. The Director General, NEMA, Mustafa Ahmed, who officially received the returnees on behalf of the federal government, admonished them to learn from their experiences and be law-abiding citizens. Ahmed, who was represented by the Director of Finance and Account of the agency, Sani Jiba, added that the federal government had approved the evacuation and provision of the token to support their movement back to their various homes. The Consul General of Nigeria in Dubai, Atinuke Mohammed, who accompanied the returnees back to the country, appreciated the federal government for the special intervention in the safe evacuation of its citizens. The United Arab Emirates, UAE, has slammed a fresh visa ban on Nigerians seeking to visit Dubai, a decision that would trigger travel crisis for travelers. The ban was conveyed in a notice issued to the country's trade partners in Nigeria by the destination management companies licensed to issue electronic visas to the UAE. This is coming weeks after the country tightened the visa requirements to prospective visitors to the country, requiring them to provide a 6-month statement of account. The requirement was further reviewed by the UAE and restricted Nigerians under 40, except couples, from visiting the country. But in the latest decision, the UAE authorities imposed a total ban, with many applications rejected. It equally specified that there would be no refund for rejected applications. The UAE authorities have not provided any reason for the decision, which trade partners said would affect flights to Dubai. You're watching Trust TV News Update coming up. How small businesses fight for survival. Details of this after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Trust TV News Update, our top stories. APC presidential candidate meets religious leaders in Kano, says he's contending with 2 other candidates. President Buhari pledges to investigate herder farmer killings in Benue. Moving on, 3 persons lost their lives after a truck crushed a taxi at the Obada area of Abeokuta, Ogun State on Sunday. The spokesperson of the Federal Road Safety Corps in Ogun State, Florence Okwe, who confirmed the incident in Abeokuta, said 5 male adults were involved in the crash. She added that the vehicles involved were a Volvo mini truck with no registration number and the taxi, a Nissan car marked AKM489ZY. Okwe disclosed that the injured victims have been taken to a general hospital in Abeokuta for medical attention, while the bodies of the deceased victims were deposited at the same hospital's morgue. Small and medium businesses in Nigeria are struggling to survive from imminent collapse due to harsh operating environment. Many are losing their jobs daily as a result of economic downturn, subjecting them to untold hardship. Trust TV's Abdullahi Yamadi went round some business premises in Katsina State, which were forced to close down. His report.
In Katsina State, thousands of small and medium-scale businesses have either reduced the scale of their operations and downsized the number of their workers or closed completely. The reason some of the business owners advanced cost of materials has tripled, inadequate power supply, and reduction in the purchasing power of the people. Look at me, I'm a professional to the core, but I was sacked twice, and now scavenging, moving from street to street in search of electronics repairs. I have to do this to feed my family, who have gone hungry and malnourished. For instance, many suya and rye meat joints have closed down, with many of the operators either switching to another business or scavenging. This industry is seriously affected by inflation occasioned by inconsistent economic policies and escalating insecurity, which devastated animals rearing communities. This is my business premises, which I closed for over a year. I sacked about 10 of my workers and switched to another business entirely new to me. My primary concern is how to feed my family. School, hospital is secondary. There are more than 500,000 people along the value chain, but already over 70% have lost their jobs. The question many Nigerians are asking is in what way the billions of naira claimed to have been injected into the economy and its empowerment programs impacted on SMEs. Observers said many business owners who were forced to close down are depressed, facing a lot of psychological trauma.
Gaskiya wannan al'amari ya shafe ni ta kowane fanni.
My shop isn't like this. There was almost everything you may ask in cosmetics shops. But now I have to manage the business. Everybody is now struggling to survive. I even thank God because many traders have been forced to close business. Many policies and initiatives aimed at stimulating SMEs have little or not translated into real growth. Abdullahi Ismail Ahmadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Youth in the country have called on the federal government and other well-meaning Nigerians to give them the needed support to enable them be more productive and curb the menace of unemployment in the country. In this report, Trust TV's Kabir Lawal tells us how youth have devised means of cushioning the effect of unemployment by engaging themselves in jobs that put food on their tables. Let's report.
Frictional unemployment is a period between jobs where a worker searches for or transits from one job to another. It is sometimes called search unemployment and can be voluntary, based on the circumstances of the unemployed individuals. It exists because both jobs and workers are heterogeneous, and a mismatch can result between the characteristics of supply and demand. Such a mismatch can be related to skills, payment, location, attitude, tastes, and multitude of other factors. Usman Umar, who spoke to Trust Television News, said he has devised a means of engaging himself in the business of laundry in order to make himself self-reliant. He further added that he has put smiles on the faces of youths that work under him as they have become more productive to the society.
You have nothing to do. That is when the evil plan will enter your mind. Then you begin the plan evil of things. Like now, once you wake up in the morning, you have somewhere to go. Maybe you go and work under somebody, or you have your own shop, or you start up your own things. You see all these criminal of things, or all this kind of insecurity that we are facing. It will not much.
Umar, who said he could not further his secondary school due to the economic situation in the country, added that his parents were not buoyant enough to further his education.
After my primary education, then I moved to secondary. So then after I finished the secondary school, I've been looking for the admissions, and that time admission wasn't come through. And I said instead of me to just stay like that and be waiting for the admission, let me begin look for something doing.
He called on the government and well-meaningful Nigerians not to relent in supporting youths, as it will go a long way to not only make the youth more reliant, but also make them contribute meaningfully to the society. Kabir Lawal, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Senator Tanko Almakura, representing Nasarawa South at the National Assembly, says considering the roles of the game of playing cards is given in promoting peace and unity, government should have a legislation that will promote the game in the country. The former governor of Nasarawa State said this at grand finale of playing card competition organized by the African United Social Clubs of Nigeria in Lafia for the 13 local government areas of the state. He said as lawmaker in the National Assembly, he will be at the forefront to promote such legislation. Senator Almakura, who described participants of the game as those who engage in one of business or the other, explained that playing the game is promoting their well-being and understanding among them and other people of the society.
Having looked at the trajectory of this club and what they do and the kind of people that belong to this club, not only in Lafia, but in the whole country, I feel it's high time government starts thinking about making certain legislation that will give some leverage to this club so that we can promote this kind of activities so that people will be able to have a good relationship that will be cemented towards ensuring support for government projects of government enlightenment and government sensitization. This can be a very useful vehicle for expanding the scope of government activities within any given society. So I am going to look into what I could do as a member of the Senate to see if there could be any legislation that could be brought to bear to promote this club.
The playing card is a social recreational activity for people who engage themselves in their viable jobs. After the job, they come and relax. And that is why over the time, we've been supporting them, we've been encouraging them to see that they also belong to society.
And on the foreign scene, a car laden with explosives rammed the gate of a hotel in the center of Somalia's port city of Kismayo and was followed by a gun battle that killed at least 3 people. A security official, Farah Mohammed, said in addition to 3 deaths, 8 people were wounded and taken to Kismayo Hospital. Witnesses said a huge blast was heard before a gun battle began. The armed group Al-Shabaab claimed responsibility for the attack. Kismayo is the commercial capital of Jubaland, a region of southern Somalia, still partly controlled by Al-Shabaab, which was driven out of the urban center in 2012. The city's port had been a major source of revenue from the group from taxes, charcoal exports, and levies on arms and other illegal imports. And that's it on News Update. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms. I'm Zainab Bala. Thank you for watching.